the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes, getting it done any means, get rid of these snakes. Down over my stakes, going all in like get rid of these breaks. Now I ain't never gonna break, double my pace till I go down one of the greats. One of the greats, whatever it takes, whatever it takes.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
It's having fun, so that's all.
We like the life. All right, everybody. Before we get too deep into this, my app is being a total little biatch and won't show me the stream so I can pin it and tag everyone. I want to make sure as many people are present before we do this.
All the homies in here.
Is it showing
It's
it
up.
for you?
I'm seeing it.
Okay, can you pin it and add everyone? It's really
I will
frustrating
pin
to
it
me.
and add everyone.
Thank you. Everybody, welcome back. This is an emergency podcast episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. I am Christian Brindle, joined with Glenn Shelton. And yesterday, we did a show and talked about the possibility of a proposal dropping any day. Then, hours later, after we got off the air,
It's getting
it
weird.
dropped.
It's getting weird. I was just thinking this morning, I'm like, this has to be like our third or fourth time that it feels like our crystal ball is just like, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I
Is
know
it
when we were talking
simulation
about it.
theory? What is this? Is it simulation theory, Christian? Tell me your thoughts on that.
Simulation theory, law of attraction. There's all different types of
secret.
possibilities here. A secret.
The
The greatest people in history knew this, like the administrator of CMS.
Speaking of, we do have a special guest here today. Oh my gosh, look at how beautiful this man is. Look at this. Just me and Mehmet. I could not be more excited. We're going to be on a warpath as soon as we get on this topic. I don't think there'll be any pulling off. If you listened to the episode yesterday, we weren't planning on having another podcast until next Monday. Here we are 24 hours later because of this CMS 2027 final rule proposal, which dropped yesterday. We had to come to you live and bring you first thoughts, first reactions. Before we get into any of this, Christian, tell the people who the sponsor of today's episode is. I want to get that out of the way right away so we can get right into the meat and potatoes. So, Christian, who's the sponsor for today's episode?
Yes, I'm so glad you brought that up so we can continue unsullied by sponsorship.
Yes, unsullied.
The episode of today's episode of the emergency podcast / 7 Figures or Bust podcast is none other than the 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit. We are doing a massive Black Friday sale on tickets. So the tickets, we dropped them actually from last year to this year because we wanted to make it more affordable for more people. It was $500 last year. They're $400 this year for the 2026 event. And I can't concentrate with you, dude. It's so creepy. It's $100 off. So $295 for Black Friday until December 1st, where you can get a ticket. We sell out every year. It's the number one event of the year. And most events have decided to call it quits next year, but we did not. We are here for you. And you want to make sure to get there. It is June 15th through the 17th, Salt Lake City, Utah. Selfishly, I make all of you come to me. I'm not going anywhere.
Very selfish. Very selfish. Very selfish.
So get your tickets, 7 Figure Medicare Agent Summit Black Friday sale while you can. $295 tickets. Well, you're right. One app extra from what you learn at the event pays for itself. No brainer.
Sponsorships are still available. Those also typically sell out every year as well. If you are looking for a way to get in front of more agents, you could be really anywhere on the spectrum as far as where how you interact with agents. You could be a vendor, you could have a software service. We have agencies, carriers, IMOs. We are open to all sponsorship opportunities. So check it out. Head over to sevenfigure.com. If you need a discounted ticket, head over there now. If you want a sponsorship, head over there now. Sevenfigure.com, sevenfigure.com/summit. Click on that summit tab. All right. Christian, I think we should. I was thinking about how we start this. Why don't it's like pre-Thanksgiving and he's so excited to feast. I was thinking we should start, if someone's brand new, I always try to think about it that way. It's like, if someone's brand new to the industry, they don't know what's going on, explain to the people what a proposal is versus like the actual fund. Because I think
Yes.
I think that might be part of the confusion for some of you out there. You might think like, rules changed. They announced the rules changed. We are very early in that process. So let's start with that before we get into the details here.
Yeah. So CMS historically always kind of goes around the same time of schedule, where around this time of the year, and we've been saying it over the past couple of weeks on the show that, we're going to getting close to the time of the year where, traditionally CMS would put out their next year proposal for next year's final rule. And like clockwork, here we are, right? It's usually end of November, somewhere in there. So essentially a proposal is just that. It's a document that they put together, that they put out about rules changes they're thinking about implementing for the new plan year. And they typically will ask for feedback on that. They don't ever listen or read them, so don't bother giving feedback.
That was my thought too. I didn't want to say that because it sounds sad. Because some of you were like, "What? Where do I go to tell my thoughts?" Like,
yeah,
you could share comments, but I don't know. I don't know if Mehmet here has time.
There have been like you look at the previous final rules that we've covered, right? Where there was essentially the goal of the final rule was to take a magnifying glass and then fry us out like we're ants. That's kind of what they were trying to do. And so, all these organizations, like NABIP and everything like that, they're like, make sure to leave your comments. And if we all leave enough comments, something will happen. I saw that everywhere. And did it do anything? No. It had to be fought in court to be stopped.
We just didn't comment enough. If we had
didn't comment enough.
If we had 2 times the amount of comments, it would have stopped.
So I 100% believe they put that out there to make it feel like your voices are heard, but they're not. They're heard through lawsuits, legal action, office changes, elections, and of course, I guess occasionally advocacy groups. So anyway, I don't mean to seem pessimistic about the comments, leave your comments. But I do not believe they do a single thing. And anyone that's telling you otherwise is just trying to keep you from panicking and running around thinking the sky is falling. It'd be like, this is really bad for us. Well, if you leave enough comments, if you start your day every day, whatever your routine is, you fit in adding another comment, it will be okay. So
100%, I agree.
So that's the proposal side of things. Then oftentimes it's around somewhere between March and May. It does kind of fluctuate a little bit depending on the year. The actual final rule comes out. And the final rule historically has been, especially in the last 5 years, insanity. Because it's impossible to understand. It's 1,000 or plus pages. Now, this previous one we just got earlier this year in 2025 was, I don't remember the exact number, but it was under 500 pages. It was really didn't mention much of anything in terms of agents, which was surprising. So we were kind of curious what things would look like going into the next year when we've had essentially almost a full year with this new leadership at the helm. So again, proposal is like, these are the changes we're thinking about making. give us your comments, and then we'll let you know what the full rule changes are going to be in Q1 or early Q2 of next year. So that's kind of to catch up what the proposal actually means, right?
Yes.
Now, oftentimes the proposal is like a version of what the final rule actually is. Like there's some tweaks involved before we see the finalized rule changes.
Yes.
But a year ago, if you remember, we covered this. The proposal was so radical. The proposal was essentially saying that in order to post anything on your website, on your Facebook page, on your YouTube account that talks about Medicare at all, you'd have to get CMS approval.
All language would be scrutinized as marketing language.
There would be no communication whatsoever, be eradicated. It'd be chopped, chopping block. And and we saw the final rule, and none of that was ever put into there. So that was just kind of thrown away. Now, a lot of that has to do with a leadership change inside of CMS. I really do believe. I think they postponed putting out that actual final rule until the new leadership could get in there and be like, what are we trying to do? Oh, this is stupid. Throw it all out. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. I wouldn't disagree with you. I mean, the timing wise, Oz didn't officially get sworn in until a couple weeks really before that final rule dropped. So I wouldn't be surprised if as soon as the new CMS admin got in, they were like, hold the phone on that. And maybe they pulled the majority out and just published some of the basic stuff that we saw. Because I remember when we covered it, we were like, oh, there's really not much in here. That was kind of our takeaway at the time. So I think I believe this new admin got it. And here's the thing, you guys, and we're going to talk about this with the proposal today, is like, it's a slow turn on a big ship, right? That's part of government. That's part of the system that's in place. But we are now seeing the start of it. And that's what's so exciting to me. I could dance today. That's how excited I am about this. That's how excited I am about this. Me and Dr. Oz, little pre-Thanksgiving dance together.
Little polka polka.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you. I'm ecstatic, so excited about this.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm gonna go somewhere I don't think I should before we get into this, but I'd like to gloat.
Okay.
I said a year ago when we were in election cycles, if you voted a certain way, it'd be the end of your career, and if you voted another way, regulation would be loosened. Well, here we go. A year later, I'm sounding pretty damn smart.
The crystal ball that Christian Brindle has possession of, it has some type of magic powers. He is able, we've called him Nostradamus on this show, Medicare Nostradamus, Medicare Jesus. He has many names, but Christian does have some ability to see into the future here. And 100%, I couldn't agree more with what he just said. There was a lot of speculation. And here we are. It's kind of like, feels like the reveal to me. It feels like the reveal.
Yeah.
Ironically, I had talked to Christian within the last week about, I'm like, should we do a follow-up on Dr. Oz? Should we do a follow-up and be like, give him like a report card, like how we think he's been doing?
Yeah.
And we were both like, it's a little early. Like, it's a little early. But now I'm like, okay, I see you. I see you, man. Okay.
And I think there was a lot of agent speculation on how good he was going to be. You know, like, oh, he made some comments to Congress when he was being sworn in. There's too many agents. What? Whoa! Look at that. There was a lot of that. There was a lot of pessimistic.
Even yesterday. Look at yesterday's conversation, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to send everybody to 1-800-Medicare. He's trying to cut out agents. They took our jobs. Like literally every day.
They took our jobs. Montel Williams. Yeah, 100%,
They
100%.
broke our
So
jaws.
yeah. Okay, so setting the stage a little bit for this, let's jump into this actual rule change. So it's 465 pages, this rule proposal.
Okay.
So obviously I didn't want to go through all that on the show. I skimmed through certain parts of it, but I didn't have time, admittedly, to read the whole thing.
Yeah.
In the past, I've really spent hours digging through these, and like wasting my life. This time I put it into AI and had it summarize it for me. So that's what we're going to jump
And
into.
again, guys, this is a proposal. Like, put an asterisk by this entire document, right? All of this is subject to change. None of this has been finalized, and we won't
Yes.
know for probably 4 or 5 months. So, that being said, let's get into the summary. Let's talk about some of these main points, and let's see what the proposal for 2027 final rule looks like. Because I think you'll be excited. If this is your first time hearing about it, seeing it, I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm seeing your Chatty G screen here, but I'm not seeing the summary.
All right. So this is how. So I uploaded the document, and I told it I need you to summarize this in bullet points on what proposal changes are. Make sure to focus on changes that affect Medicare agents. Okay. So going through this, right? So proposed changes that affect Medicare insurance agents, brokers, calendar year 2027 rule. Not rule, proposal, Chatty G.
Scolding it. He's scolding it.
Now, before I get into this, I'm going to say it left out the scope of appointment aspect of this. So I'm going to get to that. But let's start here. Changes in TPMO, which for those of you that don't know, third-party marketing organization disclaimer rules. This is great.
I got emotional. I got emotional reading this one specifically. Again, coming from someone who works in the call center space, someone who constantly has to read this disclaimer, right? Our team has to constantly read this disclaimer right away. It kills the phone call every time. If this is your intro, because by law, by rule, you have to say, hi, Mrs. Jones, this is Christian calling from Everything Senior Insurance. But by the way, we're on a recorded line, and I don't represent every single plan in the area. And if you really want to know all your options, call 1-800-MEDICARE and blah, blah, blah. The whole disclaimer, like that just kills the whole conversation. It really does, you know?
Yeah.
So this alone, like right away, I was like, oh my gosh. It's like, yes. Not that it's going away. Not that it's going away, right? So continue.
So here's the thing that's a confusion about this. So I have seen agents not have a full grasp on this since it came out. It needs to be in the first 60 seconds of the sales call. The sales call does not begin until you talk about specific plans, benefits, carriers, etc. So it's not the first 60 seconds of the phone call. It's the first 60 seconds of when it becomes a sales call, which most agents are just totally confused about. So, like, we don't read it in the first 60 seconds of all our calls because we don't have to.
Right.
But a lot of agents do.
True.
And no matter how many times we explain that you don't have to, and though it's the sales call, they're going to do it anyway. So this is a great, there's a
lot of entities out there that will require it, even though, like, again, that's just an interpretation. We talked about this a lot on the show, is like CMS interpretation versus carrier interpretation versus how maybe your IMO interpretates the rules. So that interpretation can be a huge variance. So the simplification here, though, where it's just prior to discussion of any benefits, I love this, right? If it's a brand new relationship and you're talking to a prospect and you can really connect with them for 15 or 20 minutes, whatever the situation is, maybe you don't even get into it until the second phone call, right? And then being able to say, hey, Mrs. Jones, we're going to get into the specific plan benefits now. I do need to read a disclaimer. That is so much easier to me.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. It says disclaimer must no longer be read in the first 60 seconds, must be read prior to the discussion of any benefits. I don't quite understand what the change is there, it might just be more clarifying because, again, it's always been the sales call. Now, again, like Glenn accurately pointed out, the actual interpretation of the old rule might have varied from one
Yes.
organization to another. But anyway, this clarifies it. This makes it very front and center.
Yes.
That's great. Ship removal from disclaimer. I love to see this.
I thought of you this. I was like, an angel got its wings in Utah tonight. In the ship is, there goes ship. It's a sinking ship. More like it.
We should make an AI image. Randy, if you're watching, can I get an AI image of a ship sinking in the water and call it Medicare ship and have a bunch of agents on like the shore cheering,
agents cheering on the shore, and capital S dot, capital H dot, capital I dot ship.
Yeah.
Ship, yeah. We need that. That's
if you're watching, Randy, please, I'd love to have that image. Okay, so ship removed from the disclaimer. Agents will now direct beneficiaries only to Medicare.gov or 1-800-Medicare. Good luck with that one. Not ships. So we talked about this yesterday on the show. A client calling 1-800-Medicare or trying to navigate the Medicare.gov site, while it has gotten better, it's an uphill battle for them. SHIP workers were essentially masquerading as agents that were unlicensed volunteers.
Terrifying.
So they're
Truly
like a
terrifying.
poor man's agent, essentially. Untrained, unlicensed, uncertified. We found routinely gave just horrifying, life-destructing advice for a lot of seniors. It's a good thing. The government's like, sending them here. That's our government for you. But I've also read some other things that were outside of the proposal that kind of insinuated that they're defunding SHIP in a huge way. So SHIP is on the way out, in my opinion. It's a failed program.
Yes.
That's great. Wonderful. TPMO disclaimer text updated. Okay. So it must still appear on websites, emails, email signatures, all marketing materials, TV ads. Verbal disclaimer must now be given before any benefits discussion, not just the first minute. We talked about that already. Okay, moving on. CMS considering major redefinition of TPMO. Again, third-party marketing organization. CMS is requesting comments on modifying the definition of TPMOs, which would affect agents if adopted later. Potential changes include breaking TPMOs into different categories by size, role, and scope. So my understanding to this is like not that necessarily agents would cease to be TPMOs, but there would be different categories of TPMOs. And the larger your organization is, like a call center organization, might have different, more strict TPMO rules than like a single agent.
Which it should. Which is common sense, right? Like,
yes.
And a field agent, independent field agent, should not have the same rules that a 1,000 person call center. It's really a completely different entity in every way. So why would we put the same exact rules in place for both entities? So again, beautiful. Love this. Great.
Yeah.
Great move. Yes. All day.
It continues applying different requirements to different TPMO types. Great. Increasing, because I've always said from the beginning, a call center should not be regulated the same as little Billy working out of his basement.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. That's crazy.
Increasing CMS ability to take action against TPMOs who mislead beneficiaries. And this is not finalized, but it signals big structural changes coming for brokerage entered entities. That's a little vague. Don't know if that's good or not. Okay. 3, outbound enrollment verification proposed elimination. So CMS proposes eliminating OEV calls entirely for MA and PDP enrollments. Removes a compliance step that often leads to confusion and disenrollments. So essentially what this is is most carriers have a process in place that's required by CMS where they will do an outbound enrollment verification after you send an app in. So they'll call the client and be like, are you sure you want this app? Are you really sure you want this plan? And it's stupid. It creates
Yes.
it creates confusion in the mind of the client. It creates doubt. It's like, well, I don't know. Is there a reason you're calling me like I just, signed up to have my leg amputated? Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this?
Are you sure?
So love that change.
Yeah,
Such a
just
stupid
great.
thing.
More dysregulation. We're undoing this gigantic, chaotic structure of regulation that's been created over the past 4 or 5 years now. Like you can just feel it slowly unraveling as we're going through here. Some of these aren't big, some of these are bigger, but it's this slow unraveling. It just feels like we're opening Christmas presents early before Thanksgiving. Continue, please. I'm loving this.
Educational events, which
This one's great. Yeah.
we're a big proponent of.
Oh my God. Yes.
Marketing events rule updated. CMS clarifies that if a marketing event follows an educational event, the agent must notify beneficiaries that the educational event has ended, giving them a chance to leave before marketing starts. Again,
there used to be a 12-hour window, right? Wasn't that the
Yes.
rule before? You had to
Yes.
wait 12 hours. Think about how stupid that rule is that they are throwing out with this proposal, right? Obviously, if you're trying to educate them and then enroll them, you should be able to do that, right? You should be able to get them in a room, educate them, and then enroll them. Okay, have clarity that, hey, we're switching to enrollment, we're switching to marketing, right? And if you guys want to leave, you can. But to have them wait 12 hours, that was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. There's going to be some more scope stuff later. Again, like I mentioned at the beginning, Chatty G didn't mention the most important part of this, which I'm like, WTF, Chatty G. Which you'll see my response, my heated response to discipline Chatty G.
My God.
5, personal marketing appointment rules updates. Okay, so this was interesting. Scope of appointment must now be in writing. So paper scope is my understanding for that, for all in-person personal marketing appointments. Again, not a big deal. Because if there's no 48-hour rule, which we'll get to.
Yeah, you can just get the scope in person right there before you start the presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, who cares? Yeah, this is a stricter requirement. That's kind of a nothing burger, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have some papers with you. That's basically what it is. Meeting prior to meeting, language replaced with prior to personal marketing appointment, clarifying when the scope of appointment is required. That was a little more vague. We probably will need a little bit more clarification. Okay, testimonial requirements may be modified. CMS is soliciting comment on modifying testimonial rules, not finalized yet. Could change what qualifies as a testimonial, how agents may use client reviews. Didn't think a whole lot of that one. 7, mailing statement requirements proposed for elimination. CMS proposes eliminating burdensome mailing requirements. This removes paperwork obligations for agents and plans. Okay. Translation rule changes, 5% rule under consideration. CMS seeks comments on changing the 5% non-English translation rule, potentially reducing what must be translated, changing how thresholds are calculated. So this is good, in my opinion, because there's a lot of rules in place about just kind of hammering the client when you're doing an app about if you need a translator. It's like if you need a translator, do you need a translator? Oh, and you could be sitting there with Georgia and Bob, who's as boomer and white as it gets. You know, they don't speak any other language than English. And you're like, do you need a translator? Do you? Tell me. You know, and so I like that. It's like asking those same people like their sexual orientation, you know, like be like, are you trans?
Yes, that's actually a great
point.
Are
you trans? And the senior's like, what? Like,
are you trans?
It's like,
do you want to get on Medicare plan today or not, Mrs. Jones?
Tell me if you're trans.
Are you trans?
Are you they, them? What are you? Okay, before I get more, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying, like,
no. Again, if you weren't aware that was some new questions that the previous admin was originally having everyone have to ask, which it's like, why do we need that information? Why does Medicare need that information? What's the benefit to them having that information? You know, it's like
I saw a question on the stream I wanted to answer real quickly. So it says paper scopes would suck. Why can't it be done electronically? My understanding of this is it can be done electronically.
Just has to
if
be
it's a remote or telesales appointment, but if you're doing face-to-face, like in-person appointments with the client, then it has to be paper. So
yeah, I'm curious if maybe there'll be a clarification added when this goes to vote. Maybe they'll have something where they just want this scope covered, because again, makes way more sense as a senior, right? If I scope you now, Christian, and then I'm meeting with you Friday to go over your options, are you going to remember anything in the scope?
No, not a thing.
No. So the scope should be done prior to the appointment.
Yes.
If we're doing a scope, if we have to do a scope, it should be right before the appointment, right before you get into it. Scoping them 48 hours before, it doesn't help anybody. Whole thing is absurd. Just absurd. Anyways, keep going.
Okay, so CMS wants feedback on agent training and testing requirements. This could be good or bad. It's a little vague, but essentially they're considering updates on agent training, new testing structures, methods to improve how beneficiaries interact with agents. What I'm reading this as it could be, but again, it's vague, that maybe there's just one cert like ACA instead of like 1,000. You know, like for us, we have, on the Medicare Advantage side alone, we have 40 carriers. So we have to do AHIP and then 40 certs, and most of them are the same.
There should be a universal cert. The idea of basically redoing the same cert 40 times is the dumbest thing. It's literally the dumbest. There should be some type of universal certification program.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that's what this could mean, but again, we'll have to see. Okay, CMS proposes stronger oversight tools against bad actors, penalize agents giving misleading info, make MAPD plans accountable for TPMOs they contract with, use data-driven monitoring of agent activities, and agents operating cleanly should benefit from this. Bad actors may face harsher enforcement. Yeah, I mean, again, right? Like that part of it, it depends on what the specifics are, because you could do everything right. And maybe you're doing like an in-person appointment with Mrs. Jones, and Mrs. Jones doesn't remember 6 months from now what you went over, and she turns you in for something stupid that she's like, they didn't tell me this. And you most definitely did. Like, does that make you a bad actor because you got an allegation? It's kind of like he said, she said type of situation. So I don't love the verbiage there necessarily, because, you know.
Yeah, I don't know what the best way, like, it's one of those things where like we all agree that bad actors need to be policed better. Like none of us would disagree on that, because there are a lot of bad actors. We just had an agent Christian and I were talking to recently who was talking about a bad actor that has had nothing come back on them despite being reported. So I don't know what the best way to change that. I'm open to what this new admin thinks, though. I'm open to seeing what that looks like.
And the big one, the one that's going to be the headlines of everything like that. I mentioned to Chatty G, I said, you left out the 48-hour requirement going away.
I thought you were going to be like unhinged. I thought you were going to be like cursing at Chatty G. Like,
hang on.
How dare you?
Hey there, Christian.
Hey, I asked you a question in another chat about the 48-hour scope of appointment rule. I'm extremely disappointed that you left it out in our first interaction. Shame on you. Go in timeout.
I'm really sorry about that mix-up. It definitely wasn't my intention to miss that detail on you. I know that rule's a big deal, and I appreciate you calling it out. Let's get it right this time, and I promise I'll do better.
You didn't mention the timeout. Are you going?
Yeah.
Haha, well, if you really want me to imagine a little timeout corner, I can play along. But seriously, I'm here to help you out, and I appreciate the patience. Let's just dive back into the details you need, and I'll make sure we cover everything, including that 48-hour rule.
Role playing with your AI partner.
Okay, so this is a big one, right? 48-hour scope of appointment wait eliminated. This has happened before. Some of you are not old enough in your careers to remember, but when I came in 2014, the 48-hour rule was in effect. It went away under the first Trump administration. Biden administration comes back in, they put it right back. And I predicted that it would probably go away again under the second Trump administration because, again, this is what we see, right? Deregulation. This is a dumb over-regulation, government overreach type of rule. I've said it before, it helps nobody. So it's proposed that it would be eliminated. So the scope would still be in place, just no 48-hour advance that it needs to be completed. So I liked this part of it. Rationale from CMS. And it's like, oh, it took you. I mean, again, it's new leadership, so you can't hold their feet to the fire too much on this. But it's like 48-hour delay is seen as a barrier to getting timely information. You think?
Yep.
And makes it harder for beneficiaries, especially those with travel issues and plans/agents to coordinate appointments. CMS now believes existing protections plus caregivers authorization reps provide enough safeguard without a hard 48-hour rule. Couldn't agree more.
So this one's huge. This one's huge. Obviously, we hate it. We think it's dumb, but the efficiency you gain from setting an appointment, again, as somebody who's set hundreds of thousands of appointments for Medicare, the efficiency you gain as an agent, being able to talk to someone same day or within 24 hours versus having to wait 2 to 3 days, right? Because that's what's happening right now with the 48-hour rule. Literally right now, when we're setting appointments at Lead Heroes, we're basically forced to handcuff you guys for 2 to 3 business days, sometimes even longer, right? Depending on your schedule. Statistically, you can, and you don't have to take my word for it, look it up. Statistically, the ability of that appointment being successful goes down every single day that you have to wait to talk to them. If next AEP, just think about this, next AEP, if this goes into effect, and you don't have to wait 48 hours anymore, think how much more business you can write. It is going to be huge. This one's huge. Like, I know we were all kind of bothered by it and like it's a stupid rule, but
this episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by Everything Senior Insurance. Guys, if you're looking for an FMO in 2025 to be a partner with you and really support the overall growth of your business, Everything Senior Insurance is the one-stop shop to allow you to get plugged in with great resources, whether it's ACA contracts you're looking for, whether it's Medicare contracts you're looking for, whether it's final expense and life contracts that you're looking for. Everything Senior Insurance has got you covered. We provide a free CRM in 7-figure CRM to all of our agents that meet the proper requirements on their contracting and have enough contracts with us. We provide discounted leads with Lead Heroes, discounted virtual assistants with Hire Heroes, and we provide just year-round support to just be there and help you out in your business, as well as fantastic training. Glenn, what do people need to know about Everything Senior Insurance, the FMO?
At Everything Senior Insurance, we've really combined all of our resources to create an FMO that can be a true one-stop shop for a senior insurance agent. Most FMOs have only maybe one resource or even no resources beyond offering that contract. We want to provide value to you as an agent to help you grow your book of business. Or if you want to create an agency, we want to help you grow your agency And there's so many resources that we have put together to really help you grow your business. So if you are looking for a true partnership, someone that will invest in your business, please reach out to Everything Senior Insurance. We would love to help you grow.
Thanks for listening to this message. And now back to the show.
This is going to be mass. I could be more. There's also a couple things. Looking at the AI summary that I got, there's a couple things that were missed that I want to make sure we go over too. So a couple big ones.
Please.
Here's one of the biggest ones in my opinion that was in this whole document that ChatGPT. Shame on ChatGPT needs to go in the corner. I think after you need to have a strong talk with ChatGPT after this. But
yes.
So one thing that's been a major issue that we're dealing with right now during AEP that we've been talking about is this whole situation where the carriers are going through contracts with the networks or potentially the networks with the doctors. So in this proposal, they actually have a potential SEP, so a special enrollment period.
Yes.
For provider terminations. This is massive.
Wow.
Massive. When I saw this, I'm like, you guys care about us. I was just like, you know what we're going through. That is huge. This is massive.
Wow. I mean,
massive.
That is enormous because it's a problem that happens every year all over the country where providers will fall out of the network outside of AEP and OEP. And the client's like, wait, so you're telling me that I'm stuck on this plan until AEP? And it's like, well, you don't have another valid election period. And I'm not going to risk my own ass by faking one. A lot of agents might, but I'm not going to do it. You're losing group health coverage. I haven't worked for 20 years. Shut up.
We're getting you a new plan, Mrs. Jones.
So that is such a practical and change that actually shows that they give a shit about
common sense. Mehmet. I'm gonna kiss that cardboard cutout as soon as the camera goes off here. This is one of those things where on one hand, this is helping the beneficiaries, which obviously is important. Like we want to take care of the Medicare beneficiaries. We want them to be able to get coverage. If their doctor goes away, they want to go with their doctor and they need a new plan. They should be able to get a new plan and go with their doctor. The rule specifically in the proposal states SEPs for contract violation, loss of credible coverage, or other exceptional circumstances must receive prior CMS approval before the election can be used. The requirement formalizes existing guidelines and practices. So it sounds like CMS, I'm trying to kind of read the forest through the trees on this one, but will CMS announce these SCPs then, you think? Like if a big network falls out, they'll be like, hey, SCPs for anyone that was affected by this network change?
I don't know if it'll be that necessarily because not all network changes are big.
Right. Some of them are really small.
I imagine it will be similar to like FEMA or something like that, to where a lot of times if there's a FEMA election period that's valid in a certain area, carriers will communicate that out to agents in that area. So that could be something like it. It also could just be that they just add it to the list of election periods.
Okay. That was talking about CMS approving those SCPs. The actual part talking about the provider terminations. The SCP for significant change in provider network is proposed to be renamed the SCP for provider terminations. Eligibility for this SCP would be expanded by removing the requirement that the network change be determined significant by CMS or the MA organization. An enrollee is considered affected and eligible if they are assigned to, currently receiving care from, or have received care within the past 3 months from a provider or a facility that's been being terminated. So that's pretty clear language. Anytime in the last 90 days or current, anywhere from current to the past 90 days, if the provider or the network has been terminated, basically they're getting an auto SEP, which from a marketing standpoint, you guys, imagine if you know that, think about this. Think about like the off season. You're trying to figure out like a good marketing strategy. Imagine if you knew a certain group of counties were heavily affected by a termination, and you knew that there was a bunch of SEPs where you could market like, hey, were you affected by, this market going away, contact us and blah, blah. However that marketing needs to be, formulated. I just think this is good for everybody. I think I see ways where this can really help agents. I see ways where this really helps beneficiaries. And like you said, it's practical. It's practical, which I love. I love. I'm going to keep looking here, see if there's anything else I feel like we missed.
Yeah, that's a big one. That is a big one.
There's a section talking about superlatives and marketing. Again, this is one of those kind of silly ones where there was basically like a rule in place where if you said like used an adjective to describe a plan or a benefit, you'd have to link to the actual data to prove that the adjective isn't, a true exaggeration. They're removing that. So again, just you're seeing more dysregulation. Some stuff about Part D, which I was honestly, I felt like there needed to be maybe a little bit more clarification on. So we'll have to maybe kind of see what the actual final rule looks like when it comes around.
I did not notice anything, and I was curious if you did, about carriers and non-commissionable plans.
Yeah, so that's a great point, and I've seen that come up in the comments many times. And obviously, that's one of the first things I looked for. Right, is we talked about a lot over the past few weeks now, the past month, talking about all these state DOIs coming forward, and they're putting these bulletins out. Idaho has a cease and desist, and they're like, hey, if you're putting this plan out and you're planning on paying commissions, you have to pay commissions. You can't just rug pull people. And I'm thinking maybe this is in here. Nothing, zero, zilch. There was nothing that I've seen. I've scanned the document. I've looked at several different summaries. I have not seen or heard anything about that. And so there's a few things. One is maybe most of this was already put together before a lot of this came to a head over the past 45 days. That's possible, right? Maybe most of this was already drafted. I would be shocked if we got to the actual final rule dropping and we still didn't see anything from CMS. What are your thoughts, though, on not seeing anything regarding non-commissionable plans in this document?
It leads me to believe that they don't think it's a pressing issue. Granted, a lot can happen from now until final rule, so we might see it in mentioned and addressed in the final rule. But that was kind of what my take is. If it's not in the proposal at all, kind of tells me they're not thinking about it. It's not on their radar. Really?
That's hard to believe. That's hard to believe because we're essentially looking at a form of steering that's happening, right? I mean, that's really what this is. And that's something that CMS has been so strongly against and still is. If you were to get CMS on the phone, they would be like, you can't steering Medicare beneficiaries to plans. That's illegal. You can't do that.
Like, again, though, prior CMSs, yes. This is not, that's the same.
So
CMS.
we're down with steering now. Steering is A-okay. Like maybe, I mean, here's the thing that CMS is in charge, but the carriers are really in charge. Let's be honest. We just talked about the size of these organizations. If you're trying to like put the cat back in the bag in a lot of ways on this, how do you go to these carriers? Which there was something too that we didn't cover about, and again, this was something I wasn't. I was like, maybe, yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna try to find this.
I have a thought on this.
Yeah.
Oz has a lot of relationships with a lot of these carrier executives.
Yes, he does. I've heard that firsthand.
So, could it be that what we've been saying for a year is true? and the carriers are telling Oz, we need another year for things to correct behind the scenes. And Oz is like, Oz is a business guy, right? Oz understands business. He's a capitalist. So he might be looking at it like squeezing these carriers is not the way. They need time to they need time to let the market correct, phase out old plans that aren't viable, things like that. He might be looking at it from that perspective. There's conversations going on behind the scenes. We know this.
So that was part of my thought process too, is that maybe this needs more this is a big issue. This is a complex issue. This is something that also, if you look at it and it's really come to a head over the past 45 days, my gut reaction was that they probably need more time to address this. I don't feel like this is something that can just be, as much as we want and as much as maybe some of these state DOIs want, just like a quick fix, like here's a paragraph, we're doing this. I do think there's probably more going on behind the scenes than we can realize. And maybe it's just, hey, let's address this in another year. Again, this is a 500-page document. And there was another section in there talking about maybe like a reformulation of how the star ratings are going to work. I didn't have a chance to really get super deep on this part of it, but I did have a thought when I was reading this. A lot of these non-commissionable plans are stemming from the carriers being concerned about, if I terminate this plan early, it's going to affect my star rating, right? Isn't that a big part of it?
Yes.
So there's a chance that there's some language in this proposal already where they're trying to attack this from maybe a little bit of a different angle. If they can make it where carriers aren't going to be affected as much by terminating a plan, maybe that will help with some of these non-commissionable plans. So again, I'm a lot of speculation here. This has been out for like 24 hours or less at this point, less than 24 hours. So, but who's to say that when final rule actually comes out in 4 or 5 months, that it doesn't have something in there that's even more specific? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think looking for a solution and to come about as fast as we all want, it's just probably not realistic, is kind of what I'm thinking.
And that's been my stance from the beginning.
Yeah.
My stance from the beginning is this is going to take 2 to 3 years to correct, and nobody can stop that from happening. And anyone that tries to stop that prematurely causes more issues, right? It just domino effect into more issues. The market has to correct. And, anytime we talk about this, we've talked about this into the ground, but anytime we talk about this, there's those agents that are like, $10 billion in profits last quarter? You telling me no profits for the plans for agents? Yeah. And I'm just like, that's how I hear every agent, by the way. When I'm reading your comments, like that's how I'm reading it. What do you think about a new agent? What should I do? New to the business. Holler. That's how I read all your guys' posts. It's like the voice in my head.
Oh my God.
But no, I think, there are a lot of agents that, they're conspiratorial. They're like, these carrier executives are gathering up agents, non-producing agents, and then, having rituals and drinking their blood and stuff. And that's kind of what you guys.
That's what you would think. That's genuinely what you would think based on the comments. There was one interesting line in here too. For your broader systems and automation focus, since CMS is looking at reducing regulatory burden and streamlining processes, there may be opportunity to automate or build solutions with virtual assistant support to help plans or brokers stay compliant and efficient. So again, we're getting towards the top of hour here. and I want to kind of go full circle with this, is this did not address everything. And I know some of you wanted maybe a fix-all Band-Aid with this first final rule, and I wish it could, but that I never really thought that was realistic. I never thought that,
Sure.
Here we are 7 months into the new admin, including Mehmet Dr. Oz, being in power. Did I really think they could turn the whole ship in 7 months? I think that'd be super unrealistic. If any of us thought that, if we were trying to hold their feet to the fire, we're like, fix everything. Fix it all. Give me commission on everything. It's just not. You guys have to you need to be realistic. What I'm seeing though, as I'm reading this last night, as I'm going through this, point by point, I'm like, this makes sense. This makes sense. This is common sense. This is deregulation. This is deregulation. This is deregulation. I just got excited about the future. And after how pessimistic the industry has been over the past year, I would say, ever since a lot of these non-commissionable plans have come up, it was like a breath of fresh air. It really was. It was sunshine on a rainy day to see positive news like this. This, to me, we talk about the, Dark Christian specifically has talked about the herd thinning. Well, guys, this is getting to the other side. This is the pendulum swinging back that we're starting to see. This is light at the end of the tunnel. Future deregulation, where next AEP could just be a gold mine, guys. We might be in a utopia for Medicare that we haven't seen in a long, long time. We're not there yet. We still have, the actual final rule to come out next year, but I haven't been this bullish in a long time about the industry, about where we're at and what to come. So I'll kind of leave that there. Those are kind of my final thoughts on the 2027 final rule proposal from CMS that came out yesterday. Mr. Brindle, final thoughts on what we're seeing right now.
I love it. I love these proposals. I think this is so positive. It's practical. It's reasonable. Words you could never use for the previous administration, CMS. Sorry. It just is what it is.
Sorry, Shaquita.
If anyone has a connection, I would pay to interview her and grill the fuck out of her.
She does not want to talk to you.
No, she doesn't. But can you imagine the most viral video we've ever done?
You would be foaming at the mouth like a rabbit, and like what's wrong with Christian?
If anyone's got the hookup, I will move heaven and earth. I'll travel to her and do it in person, whatever I got to do. But someone needs to be held accountable. But anyway, no, I mean, this is great. These are very positive changes. Again, I want to remind everybody that this is a proposal, not an actual rule change. So take it for what it will. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be telling you to leave comments for CMS. I'm not telling you not to do it. I'm just telling you nobody will look at it. You're the only person that will ever read it. So before you hit send and you're reading it over to spell proof it, that's the last time it'll be read. So if it makes you feel better, send them in.
Oh my!
I could be wrong, right? Maybe there is maybe
there'll be an AI aggregate of the cut. That's the only thing I can think is maybe they'll get a summary of all the comments. Like how many people said this?
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
Maybe. Maybe.
I genuinely think they just put that out there to make the illusion that they actually care what you think. I don't think they do. And we've seen that. Like no matter how many agents leave comments about a certain thing, their decisions are not based off of that. They don't really take it into consideration. And if they do, it's a 1% consideration. But leave your comments.
Comment on this. We will read your comment if you comment on this video, on this stream. So you also will be entered into Freebie Friday. This is our second stream of the week. So that's two different chances. Not only will we read your comment, but we might even give you a free summit ticket, $295 value, just by commenting. So if you want to comment somewhere, comment here. We'll read it. It has value here.
We will read it.
Yes.
And CMS probably won't. Guys, let us know what your thoughts are. And as soon as and as we get more information, we'll be bringing it to you live. But so promising, and I'm so glad that the. I did a stream on this the other day. You know, like I am an. Glenn talks about it all the time, kind of tongue in cheek on the show. You know, he says I'm an ESI nationalist, but I am an ESI nationalist because I care about what's good for ESI and for our business. It affects how I vote. It affects what I support. It affects how I collaborate. Everything, right? First and foremost, I really don't care about anything else. Don't give a fuck. And so, you know, I said from the beginning, I said from the beginning that the administration change would be good for our space.
Yes.
And I think that prediction's looking pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
Multiple years of deregulation to come as well. So let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, that's, again, think about that, you guys. If this is what we're seeing now, imagine what 2 or 3 years from now looks like, right? I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. The short-term future on the Medicare industry right now is just, it's creme de la creme, you guys. I couldn't be more excited.
I love all of you that got out. You're so funny to me.
I know. Like, I was thinking about that too last night reading this. I'm like, think about all the people that were like, I'm selling, I'm out, not doing this anymore. Industry's definitely ending. Industry's definitely ending. Nobody's getting paid anymore. The rules are getting crazier. It's like, actually, it was literally like we were at the peak. Like you just had to hold on a little bit longer, and then we're going to be right down the other side. Yeah.
And then what's going to happen? What's going to happen within, in my prediction, 12 to 18 months, and this will wrap up my final thoughts. But
here we go. Nostradamus is here again. Everyone, gather close, children. Gather close, children.
The amount of plans that are non-commissionable will be a fraction of what they are right now. The market will have started to stabilize, and you'll see what things are going to be going forward. And the correction will be on the 5-yard line of being completed, and everyone will be like, oh, wow. Now, it looks like they weren't trying to just phase us all out. They're trying to get rid of all these freaking crappy, unprofitable plans. How about that? Who could have predicted that? And then, we'll be here on the show being like, So anyway, guys, long-winded final thoughts. If you enjoyed this episode, like, comment, subscribe, whatever the platform of your choice will allow you to do to support the show. We certainly appreciate it. And we'll be bringing you more news as we can. Here's to your massive success. Get your summit tickets, get your summit sponsorships, all the above. Attend the event of the year in 2026. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.